Hello, my name's Alyssa Sands. I'm going to be going over 10 of the 25 biases, and the 10 that I have chosen is confirmation, sunk cost, availability historic, bystander effect, curse of knowledge, drone mentality, negativity, reactance, spotlight effect, and placebo effect. I have chosen these 10 because I understand these the most, and these are the ones that I can relate to with my own experiences the most. So, with the first being confirmation bias, it's basically like looking for information that confirms what you're thinking is correct and ignore what conflicts um, the way of thinking, your way of thinking. So basically, it's like having thoughts about something or a certain situation based on someone else's experiences, and when someone tries to oppose what you're thinking, you choose not to believe them. Um, my example was my sister. She moved out at 18, and she regrets that now because she followed someone else that she's no longer with, and I use that as an example of what not to do and to make sure I plan things out before I decide to move out. Um, the second thing, the second bias is sunk cost, and it's basically irrationally clinging to people, things, and situations because of what it costs, whether it be time, emotion, or, money. My example is that I felt compelled to stay with my ex because I had already put in 2 years with him, and because I was really emotionally attached. And of all the boyfriends I've had, he's treated me the best. My third bias that I have chosen is the availability historic. Basically, your judgments are based on what comes to mind first, depending on emotional or unusual value in memories can make them seem more relevant than they actually are. So, one example I have is that for some reason, because I spent so much time with my great grandmother on my mom's side at the farm, now that my grandmother, great grandmother's daughter, has helped taking over that farm, I just automatically assumed she lived there. And for some reason, I put it out of my mind that she does not live there and she lives somewhere else. But because she works at the farm, I thought she lived there. It's a small thing, but for some reason that just came to my mind. The next one is the bystander effect. So thinking someone else will take the lead or be responsible in an emergency type situation. This isn't really an emergency, but it was a very stressful situation, and my example is that I was in the RCC lounge when this happened, and my friend and my at the time boyfriend, who's now my ex, was sitting at the table when my friend Taylor decided to tell me about all these things that I'm already insecure about with myself to me, which struck a nerve and was in front of other people. And because I just kept playing the conversation off like it wasn't bothering me, I was kind of hoping someone else would step in. Nobody else did, so I kind of got upset, and there was a little bit of a falling out, but it was resolved now. But in that moment, I was kind of hoping someone else would take the lead, and no one else did. The next bias is the curse of knowledge. Basically, after learning something, you automatically assume that everybody else knows that. Like, hey, how did I not hear this? Like, everybody else must know this too. So my example is that in anatomy, because it's dealing with the human body, and literally all my friends are humans too, I learned some things that I thought, wow, this actually makes a lot of sense, and I just thought that my friends knew it, so I would tell them all these random facts I learned in anatomy, and they had no idea what I was talking about because they didn't learn that, and I just assumed that they knew that. Another one is drone mentality. Becoming so used to routine that when something new arrives, you kind of avoid it. Mine is because I'm so accustomed to keeping experiences or emotions to myself that when people ask me to evaluate or open up about them, I kind of just shut down or avoid the topic altogether. Negativity bias is another one. It's allowing negative things to affect or determine your way of thinking. So I've grown. So this is over the course of many experiences I've had with either friends or boyfriends or whatever. Anytime I meet someone new, because I am so accustomed to people using me or treating me badly, I now have trust issues. So anytime I meet someone new, I automatically think the worst. I think, hey, they're just in it for themselves, or they're just going to treat you like everybody else has. And that's not always the case. Reactance is another bias. You would rather do the opposite of what someone tries to make you do. Basically, when feeling like the right to make your own decisions is being messed with, you try to retaliate in your own way. So for me, I had an ex boyfriend like a few years ago, and I had spent some time with my friends, and my friend and him didn't particularly get along, but they made do because they both cared about me, or at least I thought he cared about me. He made it really difficult to work a compromise and was basically telling me not to spend time with this person and making it seem like everything wrong was my fault. So when it came down to it, I broke up with him because I'm not going to stop hanging out with my friends because he tells me to, and then I hung out with my friends anyway. I'm on the 9th one of 10. This would be the spotlight effect. You overthink how others see you. Basically, you're paying more attention to what other people think about you than what they're actually thinking, which probably isn't about you in the first place, but if you're an overthinker like me. My example is that I have this Leatherface t-shirt, and it's not really girly, I guess you could say, so I avoid wearing it because I'm afraid that other females or, like, guys will think it's weird because I like horror movies and stuff. So I barely wear the t-shirt because of how I think other people see me, but in reality, they're probably not even thinking about what I'm wearing. If anything, they're more worried about, like, if they know me, they're more worried about what I have to say rather than what I'm wearing. And it's not all that out there either, so it's more of just an overthinking thing for me. Lastly, we have the placebo effect, which is when you're taking medicine, you actually think it's working when it's really not. That could be any number of things, but my personal experience is that my mom advises me to take these, like, women's a day gummy type things, and it's supposed to, like, help with your immune system. Where that may be true in a very, very tiny way, like, maybe they do, like, a little bit of something. It's not necessarily true. It doesn't prevent diseases or make you completely immune to anything, like I thought they used to when I was younger. So, well, not younger, but, like, a few years ago. So, not everything's what it seems. Basically, these are the 10 biases. I hope I explained them thoroughly, and you kind of got an idea of what I meant through my examples. Thank you.